Hey, welcome back to the next chapter. I'm B9. This is chapter 9, difficult decisions. So, I think this chapter has been a long time coming. Uh, from the very beginning, I've talked about my willingness to fight for my kids, to go to court if necessary, even to go to the streets if necessary, uh, which nobody wants me to do. I don't want to go that route. I'm just not afraid to go that route. But when the time comes and you realize that you actually do have to make that decision, how you want to handle the situation, when it becomes a little bit more real, it makes it that much harder. So I've come to a crossroad where I now know that I have to make some kind of a move. I have to make a decision, and it's been a couple weeks, couple months, whatever. Like I said, I've talked about it since I started this podcast that I need to make a decision. Well, that decision time is now. And when I think about pulling the trigger, I know that I think it's what's best right now. I believe that going this route is the best course of action. I believe that what I'm doing is in the best interest of my children. But then there's also this part of me that is still doubting it. And I've talked about that in some of the videos. Like, um, if I make this decision, are they going to end up hating me? Am I going to regret it later on? And so I've had to take some time and to really put some deep thought into it, kind of remove myself from the situation because I don't want to make an emotional decision. But I also understand that if I keep putting it off, if I keep waiting for the right moment or for some kind of a sign or for it to make sense to me logically, um, then I'm making a decision to prolong it. I'm making a decision to procrastinate, and I don't want to keep doing that. So, by taking myself out of the situation, trying to remove myself from the equation, um, has been difficult. It's not an easy thing to do to say, okay, how do I make this decision for my kids that affects them long term and not interject myself into that? How do I keep myself out of it? I'm struggling with that idea because I don't know that it's actually possible for me to do something that I think is best for them without bringing my own feelings and my own thoughts into it. So I've talked to family members, I've talked to friends, um, I've taken a step back, I've put all of my feelings aside, and I've tried to only consider how the kids feel. So I've asked questions to try to get an understanding of what their thoughts are and how they're feeling and what they think that they need in order for them to be happy, in order for them to be successful, in order for them to grow up and contribute and be a good part of society. And I think obviously in today's society we need that. We need people to develop the minds of tomorrow so that some of the shit that's going on right now can change. And I'm not saying that I'm necessarily the right person to do that, but I'm the right person to teach my kids that. I've tried to consider all the pros and cons of making this type of a decision. And if I haven't been clear on what that decision is um, do I motion to terminate parenting time, or do I continue to allow their mother to be a part of their lives, knowing that right now she's toxic for them? Um, I've spent quite a bit of time talking to my kids over the last few weeks and months, um, trying to gauge where they are. Um, Not only in terms of their relationship with her, but where they are mentally overall, where they are emotionally. Um, and there have been concerns. I've got a lot of concerns with where they are at. And for instance, I've mentioned how my youngest daughter is um, kind of gone cold. So that's a big concern for me. Um, and I've tried to think, well, maybe I'm trying to put this all on her because I'm upset with her. And so I've taken a step back and I've tried to remove myself from this situation, take myself out of the equation, like I said. But when I listen to what they're telling me and I understand where they're coming from and the behavior, the issues that they're having are so similar to where I am mentally. And the root cause of my problems, and I can say that they're problems. I'm well aware I've got some emotional damage. The root cause of my problems is the same as theirs. They all come from one place, and it's not a coincidence. We're dealing with a narcissist. They feel like their feelings don't get validated. They feel like their emotions are to be kept secret. They feel that they get punished when they talk about their feelings. Um, they feel neglected. They feel abandoned. Uh, they feel like they've been lied to and manipulated. Um, they feel like they've been used. And when I stop and I think about everything that's happened this year, and then I stop and I consider past issues that have happened, I know that the way that they're feeling and the things that they're telling me are not wrong. Um, I mean, we did a whole chapter on validation, and their feelings are valid. Um, they haven't said anything to me that I disagree with. And it's kind of a cool thing in a sense, and maybe cool is not the word for it, but to hear them explain what they're feeling and work through these emotions, um, it shows a level of maturity and a good understanding of their own personal feelings. And it kind of it makes you proud as a parent because it makes you feel like, okay, they get it, they know what's going on. So it's been a focus for me over the last 5 years or so to make sure that they understand that it's okay for them to talk about their feelings, um, and to be open with me about where they're at so that I can help them. Um, so the fact that they're able to verbalize those feelings and communicate that to me now, um, I think is a big deal. I think that's a lot of progress from where we started and where we've been over the last couple of years. And it does make me proud. I mean, given the circumstances, obviously I wish things were better for them, but given what they're dealing with and um, how they're handling it, yeah, I'm proud of them. I think that they're being very mature. Um, Unfortunately, they're in a situation where I feel like the things that they're dealing with is forcing them to grow up a little bit faster than I'd like. Um, but they're handling it well, and they're doing a good job of talking to me, and they're doing a good job of communicating with each other. I've seen them come together in some of these situations where they're very supportive of one another and they've got each other's back. And as a parent, you gotta love that because I've tried to prepare them for life after me. What I expect from them once I'm gone. I want them to lean on each other. I want them to have each other uh, till the end. You know, I've told them, one day I'm going to be gone, and it's just going to be the two of you, and you need to look out for each other. And so to see them in these times of turbulence come together and hold each other up and be supportive of each other's feelings and listen and stand up for each other, it's a good thing. It makes me feel great. Um, Makes me feel like I've accomplished that goal of teaching them to be there for each other. And before I get too far off track, I just got to regroup and think here. But having them be able to talk to me and um, seeing them talk to each other or hearing them talk to each other about their feelings, it's made this decision making process a little bit easier um, in terms of how I was doubting my decision or second guessing myself. They've expressed that, let's just say that their feelings align with my thoughts. And so I've made peace with my decision. I think that in the long term, I'm making their lives easier. I'm going to make them happier. And if I'm wrong, then I'll have to deal with the consequences of that. And um, then we're talking about a different approach on how to repair or undo any damage that I might have caused. Um, but the goal as a parent is to do what's right, to make your kids better than you, to give them something that they need that you have. And I think a lot of times we forget that they're learning from us, they're following our lead, they're absorbing part of who we are. Um, and for me personally, like I've said it a bunch of times, I don't want my kids to be like me. I don't want them to absorb any of that energy, um, because I am damaged goods. I have emotional damage. I've been through a lot. Obviously, they've been through a lot, and they're going through a lot right now. Uh, but I don't want them carrying my demons. It's hard enough for me to carry it, and I'm a really big man, and I like to think that I'm pretty strong. It's hard for me to carry these issues and this damage, and so I don't want them to have to carry it. And if I can take the burden off of them, if I can take away the pain that they're feeling right now, the anger that they're feeling, the frustration, uh, I'd gladly carry all of it. You know, we as parents, it's our job to protect our kids. It's our job to comfort our kids, to give them something. And yeah, we get something in return because we get their love and we get their compassion. And that's great. A really good example. Um, Today, I went to a funeral service for my brother Steve's aunt. Steve's one of my best friends. You've heard me talk about him um, many times. And he was very close with his aunt, and so were his kids. And after the service, while he was working through his emotions and very obviously upset, like I said, he's close to her, his kids are going through their emotions, and he stops to embrace both his kids at separate times. And you could tell that his intention was to comfort them, but as soon as he had his arms wrapped around them and he's resting his head on top of theirs, you could tell that while he's trying to comfort them, they're in reality they were comforting him. And for me, it was a great thing to see. Um, Steve's a great dad, absolutely amazing dad, and to see um, that embrace between him and his kids, and that transfer of love from one another. Um, it was special. It touched my heart. I'm extremely proud of him, and um, I couldn't ask for a better friend or a better brother. Um, and I admire the type of father that he is and the relationship that he has with his kids. Um, he can joke with them. He can be really hard on them. And but like I said, today I got to see that that feeling. You heard me talk about it, about that one hug. Today he got that one hug from each of his kids, and from a bird's eye view looking down, that is an amazing thing. So it really was a beautiful thing. And like I said, it's just that one hug, that's all you need. And I got to see it. I felt it before, but I've never seen it. And so today I got to see it. Granted, it wasn't the best of circumstances, but You know, we we are Christians. I don't know if everybody that's watching this has the same faith, but the Bible says to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. So, with that, we'll keep Steve and his family in our thoughts and prayers. Before I got started on recording tonight, I was kind of curious as to uh, what information or what resources would be available to somebody trying to make a difficult decision. So I Googled difficult decisions, which is the title that I had already decided on. So the first thing that came up was life choices, 5 tips to help you make tough decisions. This is from centerstone.org. Number 1, look beyond the moment. Number 2, evaluate a head choice versus a heart choice. Number 3, consider if you could survive if disappointed. Number 4, respect the effect and influence of others. Number 5, go with what you know. So I'm going to just kind of quickly uh, go over these and then we'll wrap it up because I keep having some technical difficulties with this last clip. But look beyond the moment. I think I've done that. I think I've considered the outcome of the decision and the effects that it could have on the kids in the long term. So, right, wrong, or indifferent, I think that I've made the right decision. And we'll find out as we move forward with this. Number 2, evaluate a head choice versus a heart choice. Um, I think I've identified that over the last few weeks or months, or the last month rather, that I've had to remove myself from the situation so that I didn't make an emotional decision or a hard choice. Um, I think I've done what I needed to do to make sure that I'm making a logical and rational decision. So I focused on making a head choice, and I think that what I've decided on is the best as of right now. Consider if you could survive if disappointed. Obviously, I'll be fine as long as my girls are fine. Um, so, yeah, I can survive if I'm disappointed. But I think the only thing that would disappoint me is if I fail to provide them with the life that I feel they deserve. Um, and if I feel like I'm going in that direction, then I'll course correct and make sure that that doesn't happen. Respect the effect and influence of others. I've consulted with friends, family, and professionals. I've taken the feedback from them to help make my decision. I don't want to say help make my decision. I've considered it. The decision itself has been mine, is solely mine, and um, I took into consideration everything that was said to me. But at the end of the day, I'm doing what I believe is best. Uh, go with what you know. So that's a big one. Um, I know that right now my kids are not in a healthy relationship with their mother. I know that the relationship has not been good for quite a while. I know that I've tried to help mend that relationship, um, even against my better judgment. I know that I'm no longer going to do that. Um, I can't interact with this woman. I have no desire to. Um, there's no co parenting, it's only been counter parenting. I know that she's a narcissist and therefore she will not change because she doesn't believe that there's anything wrong with her. I know that she is not going to be able to support the kids' feelings or validate their emotions. I know that she only cares about herself. And I also know that a lot of what she's doing is to weaponize the kids to try to hurt me. I know that I will do everything that I can to protect them. And I know that I'm going to do everything that I can to ensure their future. So, with that, we're going to call it a night. Um, we'll see where everything goes from here. And I'll see you in the next chapter.